What's up, you Marks and Smarts? Let me tell you what I think about the draft real quick. All right? Now, with the WWE draft, there's no certainty to it, right? As we all know. Wrestlers get drafted, wrestlers could travel to brands that they're not supposed to be on because they're supposed to be exclusive wrestlers, etc. Now, the whole problem with this is it's not realistic, right? In wrestling, it's all about it feeling like it's real in the moment or it being real, right? Because no one likes to just see fake wrestling, right? We want to feel like in the moment that was real. Okay, that was fake, but that was real, right? So with that being said, we have to understand that with the draft, I think that, what they should do is there's a whole bunch of college athletes, right? D1 students who want to get into the business, all right? It's a whole bunch of indie wrestlers that want to get into the business, right? So need to do what the NBA and the NFL does, right? No people that's already signed with WWE should be in the draft. It should be people who aren't signed and they all show up to a big draft center in goddamn Florida, right? They can have it in the Florida auditorium and shit like that. Make it real presentable. Have Triple H do it or somebody from the top brass come down and do it, right? Triple H could get his Adam Silver on, you know what I'm saying? And just like announce, you know what I'm saying? And then fucking depending on, who's on NXT or who's on Raw or SmackDown, they'll get more draft picks and shit like that. Whoever's most lacking in star power or champions get the less, or I shouldn't say champions because they all have a fair amount of belts. Right, they all have a fair amount of belts. So I would say, right, the star power is where we should go. Whoever has the least amount of star power, like NXT needs more picks right now, right? Because NXT needs more stars, right? Or it could be one year that Raw needs more stars. They get the first pick, or whichever brand's the most in lack. You know what I'm saying? Like SmackDown is stacked. SmackDown would definitely be like a top team in the NBA, like just getting like, the picks that they don't really need, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they'll take them though. You know what I mean? Like NXT is going to need a number one draft pick, generational talent to, bring up NXT again, like the way it's supposed to have been, you know what I'm saying? Raw and shit like that, probably Raw. I think it might be Raw who's going to need that number one draft pick, right? And the number one draft pick should just be the hottest free agent in the industry. You know what I'm saying? That's willing to sign with WWE if the chance, opportunity, if the chance makes itself apparent. You know what I'm saying? If the opportunity presents itself, I should say. You know what I'm saying? And basically, should be in like an auditorium, big auditorium in Florida, near the training center or in the training center in the PC. They got the room. They could probably just shift that shit around, make a big little auditorium, make it seem like a big deal, invite, a lot of wrestlers and shit like that, old and new, you know what I'm saying? Have them sit at the tables like they do the NBA and the NFL and shit like that. And, get the hats out, get the Raw hats, get the SmackDown hats, get the NXT hats, right? And it's like shit, invite like 60 wrestlers, right? Only 30 of them getting drafted. Right, so Raw's gonna get 10 people, SmackDown's gonna get 10 people, NXT's gonna get 10 people, right? You know what I'm trying to say? So then, after that, everybody else goes home, but it feels the same feel of the draft because shit, even if you declare for the draft and they invite you to the draft, doesn't mean you're gonna get fucking drafted. That's they already tell you, and you're pretty damn sure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and that sense of realness, and then the person come back and declare for the draft again, you know what I'm saying? And be like, and that could be a storyline in itself, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they get picked that year, the second year, right? So it could be like, yeah, my first year I declared for the first ever WWE draft and I didn't get picked. I was heartbroken, but I went back and I trained and I wrestled across the world and I made some of myself and now I'm back and now I'm the number one pick. That shit, come on, bro. That shit's going to be great. You know what I'm trying to say? I was trying to tell him that a long time ago. This is why I started this podcast. Because I know someone's going to pick up and hear this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, basically, this is all I want to know, right? With this whole draft, right? That's all I want to know, right? I want to know why, wrestlers could go back and forth from SmackDown and Raw. Like when the draft was real, when SmackDown was versus Raw, just like how you see right now, like Vince McMahon's face, SmackDown versus Raw, niggas wasn't going back and forth unless it was Survivor Series season and niggas was beefing and fucking each other up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas was not just having, I mean, they could have, you know what I'm saying, random matches, but that was rare. That was rare. Those were main events. You know what I mean? Those weren't just fodder mid-card matches. Those were main events. Those were big main events with top guys and champions, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time that they had a match with Raw and SmackDown from my memory, from back in the day. I don't know what to do nowadays. A lot of people don't even watch this shit nowadays. And the only reason I started this podcast is just so shit. Maybe this motherfucker listen to me, you know what I'm saying? They could listen, steal my ideas. I don't give a fuck. Just give me my views, give me my likes, give me my fucking comments and shit. Maybe I'll get my cheddar, now me on the back end. But really, you know what I'm saying? But shit, give me a motherfucking job. I'll give you niggas all the motherfucking ideas. Shit, you can pay me pennies and shit like that. If fucking, but listen, I want a motherfucking, give me a little apartment. You know what I'm saying? You give me motherfucking some like $50,000, $60,000 a year. And I give you all the ideas you can motherfucking take. You know what I'm saying? And but I need the first year's rent paid just because you like niggas like to fire niggas. I need this shit 12 months in advance. There's a case I get into some bullshit, and I could get myself out of it. You know what I mean? And there will be no hard feelings. But shit. So with that being said, right? You know what I'm saying? It could be like 15 indie guys. It could be like. It could be like 15. Okay, shit. You could have seven motherfucking indie chicks, right? And 8 motherfucking indie guys, and 7 and 8, right? So there'd be 7 chicks, 8 guys. You know what I mean? 7 chicks, 8 guys. You know what I mean? From the D1 athletes and the indies, right? You know what I'm saying? I only say 7 chicks and 8 guys because the women's roster is a lot smaller than the men's. And adding 7 women to the roster would be very significant. Adding 8 niggas to the roster of like 100 niggas, isn't that significant? Rather than adding like 7 or 8 women to like a 30 woman roster at the max, and that's stacked. They probably got like 20 active women, and like the rest are jobbers and shit like that, and like enhancement talent. So and then NXT probably has more women. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? All those women, those 14 women will be split up between NXT and all that shit. So, you know what I mean? It'll even itself out. And the men's shit will even itself out too and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? With that system, right, what you could do with that is, like, you could actually, like NXT cats, they got to train and shit like that. The niggas get drafted to Raw and SmackDown, probably, like, are indie dudes or... Yeah, probably the indie dudes probably go to Raw and SmackDown to see how they do and shit like that. You got to train all the D1 motherfuckers and shit like that. They got to do a good year of training and shit before they even touch the mat. That's just how that shit goes for real. You know what I mean? Or if they exceed expectations and shit like that, and then they could really wrestle and shit like that. Some Logan Paul shit. He probably took a 4-month, 3-month, you know what I mean, class and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already boxing and in shape and training and working out and fucking... has the best fucking trainers that money could buy. So he probably was like, he probably was fucking in that shit for like a good few months and shit before he even debuted. It had to be. And then, because WrestleMania, that nigga went and showed out and got himself a full-time job off of that fucking one performance and shit. He wasn't supposed to be back there. That nigga stole the show with that shit. Niggas did not expect him to be that. Niggas thought he was going to be awful. Niggas thought he was just going to be another superstar, another celebrity superstar that's going to come and sting up the joint. But that motherfucker did good. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know what I mean, in the business, we need more people in the business. You know what I'm saying? We need more mainstream people. We just need people in the business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs to be a top guy or a main guy. That's not how this business was founded, and everybody has their time. You know what I'm saying? Being a jobber isn't a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing at all. A lot of people start off jobbing. A lot of people. So, I mean, doing jobs and putting people over isn't a bad thing at all. Learning how to wrestle isn't a bad thing at all. Before you could be the main guy, so you know what you're doing it right. Because when you're on top and shit like that, and people are like, you're not drawing, you're gonna feel like an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Just take your time with all that shit. Learn the basics. All right, like, share, subscribe. Love y'all.